Turkey noise. Where's the button? Oh, hold on. Let's wait till the end of the song.
Does the song end?
Yeah. It's not a never-ending song. Just wait till the end of the song. It's actually 3 songs. Did you notice that? It's 3 different songs. You should know. I was working on some new intro music earlier today, and then well, once we start the show, I'll tell you the story. Okay. Oh, I think that's the end of the song. There we go. Now I can click the button. Oh, I clicked the button. Come on now. Work. Software solutions only work some of the time. There we go. I clicked the button, and it ever so slowly registered the fact that I had clicked the button. What's up, everybody? It is the 10th of September, 2021 on a Friday here in Western Washington. I got boogly eyes today, so calm down if I don't know how to read your comments, because I got my eyes inspected this morning. I went to the eye doctor, and they dilated the crap out of my eyes. I don't know if you've ever been there before. Have you ever been there before? There, folks, have you ever had your eyes checked? Well, go get them checked. You might have glaucoma. You might not. Who knows? Who knows? The doctor knows. That's who knows. Okay. So if I happen to read something wrong, don't give me a hard time today, because I can't read so good. Right, meow. But it's getting better than earlier. Earlier I was like, oh, I don't know what's happening. My eyeballs. So, yeah, that's the big news for today. I worked on filming some stuff. I'm learning all new editing software, which is totally the most boring thing in the world, especially if it's just me talking about learning new software. I mean, it would be boring to watch me learning new software. It's probably even more boring to hear me talk about learning new software, right? That's pretty boring. Okay, so we'll move on. But that's the big works of the last couple days. Learning software, getting my eyes checked, filming some stuff, cleaning the fish room. I'm gearing up to move one of my big aquariums so that I can move the other ones and start filming some other projects I have ongoing. The end part, where you put the water in. That part. We had some chickens show up, and so my fish room is a chicken disaster, and I was out there vacuuming it and stuff earlier. It's a mess. But I had planned on working on it much longer today, but my eyes were bugging the crap out of me, so I just kind of had to sit and chill for a little while until I could see. This show today is brought to you by our lovely patronizers, which are down to 161 of you. We lost 6 patrons this month. We're getting closer to 1, folks. We're getting closer to 1 patron. Just so you know, when we get down to 1 Patreon patronizer, I'm giving them the show. That's how it's going to go. Or 1 member. I guess we just get down to 1. That's the person that will be the last stand. Diamond. The diamond in the rough. Although our memberships here have stayed the same. So we have 83. So the patrons went down, but the members held strong since earlier this week. So that's a thing that we got going for us, which is pretty cool. Another thing that we got going for us is we have a lovely guest here with us that we're going to cut to here in just a second. As soon as y'all smash the like button, hit the subscribe button, and whatever else I'm supposed to tell you guys to do. It's always like a call to action of like, hey, maybe somebody becomes a patron, maybe I become a member, maybe I hit the like button, maybe I subscribe, blah, 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 blah. It's too much stuff. It drives me nuts, and I just want to get it out of the way. So we've got that out of the way, and we're going to move on to our guest, Alyssa Bentley. And I don't have any clapping sounds for Alyssa showing up, so Are you clapping for yourself?
I am
Yeah.
clapping
I
for
don't have-
myself.
I don't have any applause. I did have an applause drop, and then the software thing was freaking out earlier, and there wasn't much I could do about it. Well, when I say earlier, I mean yesterday, and so I was like, we're going to get rid of that because that's not working yet. That's not working good enough yet. So I had to get rid of it. But the editing thing, it's so boring. I feel like we should talk about it for at least 30 seconds. It's the most boring thing on the planet, and no one cares.
If you're going to talk about the editing stuff or talk about how you're learning it or whatever, I feel like you'd have to do screen sharing so that people can actually see what you're talking about.
It's true. I guess I could show people like how it works or whatever. But it's extraordinarily boring, like I said. It's like the most boring thing in the world, in the whole wide world. And, you know, like, if you ever see somebody working on software, they're just clicking away on a computer and like, oh. And they just do that for 16 hours, and you're like, yep, that's happening. Cool. I'm adjusting your camera a little bit because you were, like, looking all washed out like a ghost.
Oh.
So I'm making you less ghost looking. Oh, look at Zoom. Oh, we have a Zoom feature.
Oh
my God.
yeah.
Zoom all the way in on your hardware. That's funny. Good times.
It's fun getting an MRI because then I have to find the
jewels?
the tool that spreads so that I can actually take this thing out because you need like a hardware tool.
You need a hardware tool?
Yeah, you need an actual, because you can't just like, it's not like a regular earring that you can just take out. You have to like, they call it a spreader, and you have to spread it a little bit so that it pops because it's like a captive ring or whatever they call it. Anyway. Yeah.
See, the thing is that I do own some of those.
Yeah,
so I know
do
what you're
too,
talking
so.
about.
I don't know. I'm trying to tell the audience. If you get these and then suddenly you need an MRI, if you're going to have earrings like this, you need to have that tool.
Oh, this camera's all set to me being all weirdly squished again. I forgot that I was like, wow, I'm all squished up. I'm not this skinny, bros.
Oh, I'm also slightly translucent again.
Are you?
Yeah.
Oh,
see?
yeah. Good times. How do I keep making that happen?
I
don't know
know.
how that happens.
My opacity is not 100%.
Oh God, pushing buttons. I'm off to the side now. It's a thing we got going. Yeah, basically until we get more patrons, we're just gonna have to go really opaque. What is it? What is it? Hue? Saturation.
Opacity. Oh, for you? I don't know.
See, the thing is it's like a
You're like
it's a
sepia
button.
toned. It's like you're in a different room, which is really funny because you're just like right there.
Well, the problem is we have two completely different cameras, right?
It's
That's
so
the
funny.
issue. So, like, this camera, this one, is a piece of crap. It's like a total piece of crap. So, I don't know. I always try to, like, get it to set correctly, but, like, I don't understand. Hold on. Video input. Let me go right here. Let's go default. There. See, that's the default setting. See that? That's the default. When I put that camera on default, that's what it does.
There's a bit of a
It's
angle
weird.
issue with the monitor, so I can't quite tell what it's doing. But
All right, hold on. We'll go default.
I can look at my phone.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it's crazy town. So,
No, not that
we
way.
got to like jump some of these numbers down. We got to move the saturation is like Captain Crazy. White balance set to 4,000. Gain. What's gain doing? Why is gain all crazy? Okay. Well, that's a thing.
Is Gain still a laundry detergent?
We can still zoom though. It's still a feature. I was just about to click over to the chat to see if anybody was even chat. No one's even chatting, so I guess we're just here doing our own thing today.
No, they are. They're just talking about how boring it
You
would
guys-
be to talk about the programming.
It would be intensely boring. Yeah, yeah, it would be rough.
Yeah.
But Yeah, I don't know. We're just gonna leave it like that. We're gonna deal with it for today. Let's see if we go like this. Color. Here we go. So the hue, like if I put hue to 0. Okay, that actually does make you look more normal. There we go. All right. That's as good as we can get it. That's as good as I'm going to do it live. It's as good as I can get it. There. Fine. Save settings. There we go. Saved. Okay. What were we talking about? Oh, I was squished. I was trying to figure out why I was squished, but screw it. Who cares? Everyone's watching on their cell phone anyhow. They're probably just listening to this nonsense. Aberite says, wouldn't the white balance be on point if your walls are middle gray? It's true. It's like we're in a different room. Still. But regardless of any of that, wouldn't the I don't know. Would the white balance be on? No, probably not. I don't know. It's broken. This world is broken, okay?
I mean,
we just
there's
have
also
to realize
like different colors of lights in here, and there's a lot of things to think about.
There's lights and different cameras, and it's all goofy nonsense.
Yep.
Yeah, so either way, whatever. I don't know. What do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? It's Friday.
Oh.
It's Friday, man. What do you want me to do?
It's Friday. You had those belladonna drops in your eyes earlier.
Yeah,
them all.
it was weird. It's weird. My eyes are all sorts of weird. But I guess the good news on the eye doctor thing is that my eyes are healthy, so that's good. We're doing good, dudes. We're doing good, dudes. And I'm probably going to get eye surgery. I think that's what's gonna happen.
You're gonna get the laser surgery?
Yep.
So you don't have glasses anymore?
Most likely. That's most likely what's gonna happen. I think that's what's going to happen. We'll see. I have to talk to the consulting whatever people.
Okay.
But realistically, it's just like a convenience factor. Like, I hate having to wear glasses all the time. I don't wear contacts because I don't like wearing contacts. I hate it. It's the worst. And there's a bunch of stuff that I want to go do that it's encumbered by wearing glasses, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're out water skiing, for instance, like you don't want to wear your glasses while you're water skiing, and if you can't see while you're water skiing, that doesn't work.
I don't know. I've never been water skiing.
Well, I'm just saying, like, you could at least envision the idea of like you're going 28 miles an hour behind a boat on a
string.
ski on a string. And you don't necessarily want to be like traveling at speed through water and not be able to see if you're going to run into obstructions that could be floating in the water.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, like whales.
Yes, like whales in the ocean.
No, like the country of no, I'm just kidding.
The country of Wales, you would not want to crash into the country of Wales. I agree. True. Facts. True facts here on the Friday show. Helpful. But there's just a bunch of stuff that I want to do. There's a bunch of like, you know, realizing from like having gone to Peru and whatnot, it's like I don't want to be wearing glasses if I don't have to. So whatever, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Plus, every year Vicky and I like make contributions to a health savings account. You know what I'm saying? The HSA account.
Yeah.
And the HSA money goes away.
Yeah.
If you don't use it. And I lucked out. I didn't get any butt worms while I was in Peru.
That is very good.
So,
good.
Well, that we know of. And even if I did, would I be able to get any deworming medication? Apparently.
There are a lot of different kinds of deworming meds that you can get.
It's true. But is it the right one?
I don't know.
For the Peruvian worms.
I still have the Camellanus worm medication in my fridge at home, so
yeah,
you know, if you need to drink some sheep drench,
it's on, dude.
You can.
It's on. I'm doing it. But yeah, I guess more to the point. I did not require butt medication or anything like that. Good. So
Good.
It's like, well, we're going to lose a whole bunch of that if we don't use it on something. So we're just going to use it on that. And then maybe Vicky will think I'm prettier.
Aww.
Maybe Vicky will think like, wow, he's so pretty. He's not wearing glasses.
I didn't even realize how pretty his eyes were.
Oh, my God. Now I want to hold hands with him. Oh.
It's okay to bring him around my family now.
Probably not. I infuriate half of them.
Oh, no.
Not in a bad way. Not in a bad way. Actually, I get along with most of Vicky's family for sure.
Oh, good.
Yeah. You know. Getting along.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you get along with Justin's family?
Yes.
What about your family?
Yeah.
Okay. Now we've checked in on that.
Mm-hmm.
The Greater Seattle Aquarium Society is having an in-person auction next week. They're trying to, right?
Yep.
We were talking about this before the show.
Yep.
And most of y'all are into aquariums and aquarium auctions.
Mm-hmm.
This will be the first one since the beginning of the pandemic. I don't know how long it's been.
The first one since, what was it, November of 2019?
Oh, is this the big one they normally do at the church?
I think that one was at a Moose Lodge in White Center or something like that. We haven't been to any churches in a long time.
In West Seattle?
Yeah. No. Yes.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a church. It was like a Moose Lodge or something.
Well, it was...
But yeah.
Okay.
But
I'm
yeah.
It used to be... Well, it used to be in Fremont at the college, and then the college was too small, and so they moved it to one of the bigger rooms at the college.
So
then
the one that's...
Then they moved it to the thing.
So
right?
the one that's coming up next week on Tuesday is just like a regular monthly auction, and it is at the college in Fremont.
Oh, okay.
So it's just in the gazebo room or whatever the heck. We didn't get our regular room back. Which is fine because the gazebo room is much bigger.
Right.
And then we can have more space in between and do the social distancing thing that you're supposed to do.
Yeah, I would have it at the church because then you'd have lots of space. I would have it outside in a field with the sprinklers on. That's what I would do. I'd be like, y'all like wet stuff? Here you go. Sprinklers are on. Ready to go?
We just open the bags.
Yeah.
Just open all the push bags.
My plan is to not go. I typically don't go to the GSAS meetings unless I'm like prodded by somebody to go. Any number of people. Any number of people have occasionally prodded me to go to a meeting, and I'm like, cool, yeah, I'll go. Mm-hmm. I've never been a member of the club, mainly because a bunch of times I had like a lot of weird interactions with people from the club that sort of turned me off to like getting involved, which it is what it is. It's all good, but I've gone to lots and lots of the meetings and auctions and stuff like that, and I like most everybody there. But I've never, I was never like, wow, I really should become a member for the benefits, because it was like, you could get on the email list, and it's like, I don't want to be on an email list, and I certainly don't want to pay to be on an email list, right? It was like, why don't you guys have a Discord or something like newer than something that existed when AOL was introduced, you know? It was like,
we have a Facebook group now, so.
But I only go on Facebook to just yell at people about
I know
abortions and stuff.
I know.
And then people get mad. And I'm like, stay mad.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
I joined because I didn't know any other way to get involved, and I wanted to be able to talk to people who also knew things about fish.
Uh-huh.
Because my friend circle,
I think it's great for everybody to be involved. I really do.
In my friend circle, people thought that it was weird that I would have more than like this big of a container of water with a fish in it.
It's true.
So I was like, I need to talk to people who know what they're doing.
Yeah. What's Fishtoberfest in Portland?
Oh, so in Portland, they're having some sort of big... I don't know all the things. Is Bentley talking about it?
Yeah, apparently Bentley...
Okay, yeah. So Bentley's talking about it. They're going to have a bunch of speakers and... like Alex Secret History is going to be there, and Jason Blair from Redfish Bluefish, and some other people. I don't have the whole thing memorized because it's not my thing, because I'm not the one in charge or involved really.
Right.
But it's like an event.
First I heard of it.
Yeah, I've heard of it like a week ago, maybe. Time has no meaning still, so could be 2 weeks ago, could be 6 months ago, I don't know.
Right.
But
yeah. And like, so I'd recommend everybody to be like involved in your local fish club for sure, as much as you can. You got to set the level though. You got to set your own level.
Yeah.
Like, I was always happy to spend money. I was always happy to donate. I was always happy to like do that kind of stuff. But like I said, I had a lot of weird interactions with some of the people there. There was a guy who had occasionally, my girlfriend at the time, who was not Vicky, by the way, just so relax, other people watching the show, right? Relax. There was a guy there that had a bunch of interactions with my ex that were like very not welcomed. Yeah. And so it was kind of like, yeah, I don't know, man. It's just adding up to the like, maybe I don't want to be involved here, But I do know most of the people from the club.
Yeah.
All up into club, But this is the first that I've heard. This is the first that I've heard of the Fishtoberfest? Fishtober is a small one-day convention, basically. Dan of Dan's Fish, Lawrence Kent, Alex from Secret History, LRB Aquatics, and Jason from Redfish Bluefish are speakers. Vendor tables as well. Oh, I wasn't invited to it, so I'm not going to go. That's kind of the rule that I have. Like, if people don't invite me to go to a thing, I try to not go.
Yeah.
I try to not go to anything. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm trying to buy, like, as much acreage as I possibly can so I never have to leave my house. I realized that the other day. I was like, why would I want to grow all my own food? And it's like, oh, so I don't have to go to the grocery store. If I could just shoot a deer and then have enough food grow on my property, I probably would, like, never leave. It's like, why do I like Amazon Prime so much? They just bring the crap to my door.
Yeah.
I don't have to go anywhere.
Yeah. I do like...
I'm just kidding.
I really
like going
do
places.
actually
I literally the other day, I went to the farm supply store just so I could go walk around and like look at stuff. I like people. I'm just kidding. Calm down.
That's literally why like we Justin and I keep going to antique stores on the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
We're just like, what should we do? I don't know. Can we go to the movies?
Antiquing.
No, you can't go to the movies yet. It's still Delta variant, blah, 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 unless we want to go to the drive-in, etc. And then we're like, well, let's see what day trip out of the way town we can go to that has an antique store, and then we'll go there. And then like just to tie this all in back together,
when is this Fishtober thing? Nobody has mentioned a date. Why did my chat just close? Sorry.
Bentley just invited you to go with.
I said you could be my guest. Yeah, but I'm like, when is it?
Yeah. Let us know when it is, Bentley.
Because it sounds like it's Fishtober sounds like it's in October would be my guess.
It should be.
And if that's the case, like, crap, my calendar over here is not synced right now. I know there's a ton of stuff I have scheduled in October, so I'm not sure. Michael Bublau, he invited me to my hot tub Twitch stream, but he didn't show up. You didn't invite me, otherwise I would have shown up. anyhow, sorry, continue.
Oh, right. So somebody found out that I have Maha Chiensis bettas still. I just have a ton of them, just having a little bombastic time in this tank. And she lives in Kelso, Washington. And she's like, you can ship them down. And I was like, Kelso antique stores. Kelso.
There's a lot of them down there, dude. Yeah.
And I was like, dude, there's like 3 or 4 antique stores just across the highway from where you live. We could probably just drive down there and it would make a day trip. And she's like, really? I'm like, I just live in like Auburn. It's just like getting through the JBLM traffic, and then
which is a lot easier now because they expanded the freeway.
Which is a little easier. It's still pretty.
It's a lot easier to get through
than it used to be.
Trust me.
For sure, yes.
It's a million times easier.
We've definitely...
They expanded the freeway. They added a bunch of exits. They added a bunch of overpasses. It is way easier to get through. There's a train now. Trust me, it's a million times easier to get through. Yes. You have no idea. You have no idea. You have no idea.
I have some idea.
You have no idea. You didn't even live here when the JBLM traffic really existed. I'm telling you, you would often be in Federal Way, and the JBLM traffic would be all the way down because JBLM was having a military something. They'd be like, oh, we had to have everybody come to the base all at the same time, and now there's a traffic jam that's 25 miles long because no one can get past down here. And then it would extend past Tacoma, and then nobody could get off the freeway in Tacoma.
Right.
And then it would extend past Auburn, and then it would extend past Federal Way. It would get all the way up to, like, basically SeaTac sometimes.
I saw...
total disaster. And plus, nobody had GPS on their phones or anything like that because they didn't have phones.
So they couldn't route around.
And so literally, like, it would be like, King 5, Chopper News, on scene. Southbound I-5 is broken. Don't try to drive on it. It's broken. And then everyone would be driving on side streets with just bonkers. It's bonkers. You lived in Minnesota or Michigan or whatever at the time.
Minnesota. But yeah.
No, you lived in Michigan, Minnesota. Wisconsin.
In between Michigan and Minnesota.
Wisconsin. Louisville. You lived in Louisville.
Oy.
No, I'll give you a hard time. But, like, it's way better than it used to be. I do have to tell you guys. Like, to anybody, like, hits that traffic jam and they're like, oh, my God. And you have to sit there for 6 minutes. It used to be hours. It used to seriously be hours where you'd be like, I guess we can't go to Portland, guys. I guess we're just going to stop and hang out in Federal Way. I don't know. Like, what are we doing? Yeah.
I guess we'll pull off and go to the casino.
Right. I guess we're going to a card room. Yeah. Come on, boys. Yeah.
No, I saw somebody had posted something about, like, it's okay. You don't have to be, like, perfect right now. You can just be a work in progress all the time. Just be like I-5 through Tacoma. You'd be working on yourself for 23 years, slowly getting better and better.
That's right, baby.
Never finished.
Right. Yeah, we're never done growing. We're never done growing. You know what I'm talking about. Maturing, learning, words.
Yep.
Vocabulary.
Sunday, October 10th.
I caught myself reading a thesaurus the other day.
Really?
I was up late and I was writing something. It's none of your business what I was writing, but I mean, I would tell you, but I wouldn't want to tell these people. Can't trust them. They're going to take my ideas and they're going to sell them to Paramount or something. I don't know. And they're going to make $1 billion and
not even share or super chat.
Never. Never. But regardless of that, I was writing something and then I was looking for a synonym, right? And then I just, for about an hour and a half, I was reading the thesaurus and just going through and, like, referencing words. And and then I realized it was, like, midnight. And I was like, oh, my God, I got to go back. Like, sometimes I seriously have doubts about my own well-being because I'm like, what was I doing? I don't even know. I'm just like, oh, yeah, that word. Okay, that connects with that word. That was, oh, well, let me look up the etymology, right?
Yeah.
Or is it entomology?
Etymology.
Etymology. Entomology is bugs, right?
Entomology. Entomologists study bugs. Yes.
Yeah. So you take the N out, and then it's words.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know, it's fun.
Yeah.
It's like
hey, good times, guys.
podiatrists and podiatrists.
Yeah, podiatrist. Are you a baby doctor or are you a foot doctor? It's like,
right.
I'm a foot doctor. Get out of here, creep. Get out of here, creep. You would always think that, like, I guess if you were somebody who was, I don't know, putting words together in your brain and stuff, you would think that, like, the kid doctors were the creeps. Nuh-uh. It's the foot doctors. Total creeps.
Yeah.
I've never met one that was, like, not... I got a creepy vibe every time. Every time. But, what was it? Somebody... Chirish was saying you don't get to keep HSA money. So, just as a heads up, guys, this is Victoria's specialty, okay? Healthcare, how health insurance, how healthcare, how all of this stuff works.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just taking her word that we have money that is going to evaporate. She told me it was an HSA account because I think the HSA money has been in there X amount of years that it can't continue to roll over is what's going on. Don't quote me on that. I'm just taking Vicky's advice that we have to spend that money and we don't have any other elective surgery. The last time that we had to spend money on our HSA account is because Vicky had to get foot surgery. Creepy foot doctors. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Hot takes here on a Friday, right?
Yeah. It's freaking doctors.
Michael Bublot is asking, what time of day or night would you consider yourself most creative or most engaged in actually exploring your creativity? Well, I mean, I think it's just like whenever you're feeling productive. Like, I think the biggest thing is to not set yourself to an expectation that you're like more creative at night or you're more creative in the morning or any of that kind of stuff. I feel like that is an accidental hurdle to try and be like, I think it's just a matter of like getting up early and having the tools and everything to work on being creative, like ready to go. Mm-hmm. And then throughout the day you can work on stuff. Now, if I was to make like a standard assessment of like my own ability to do stuff is normally like I spend most of the day sort of engaging with like, you know, cleaning things up, organizing things, figuring things out, doing stuff. And then by the more towards the end of the afternoon, I'll kind of get like 4 hours of like really productive stuff done. Whereas those first like 6 hours or whatever would be probably qualified as not that productive, but it's more just like figuring out everything works for me. But like if I didn't have Vicky and Olivia, like I would just work all day and all night is basically what I used to do.
Yeah.
I don't do that as much now. Mainly for personal reasons more than anything else. That's just like, I guess, I mean, one of the things that I could say is like, I can understand how, I don't know, who's somebody that's kind of workaholic-y or something like that. But like
Iron Man?
Yeah, Iron Man. Let's say Iron Man. Yeah, perfect example. He's a fictitious character. Tony Stark.
Yeah.
Tony Stark's like a super workaholic because he's been rewarded to be a workaholic.
Right.
I feel like I always got kind of soft rewarded. I never got to the point where it was like, wow, this is the thing I really got to do. You know, it's like people have always liked my art. People liked music stuff I've done. People liked food things that I've done. Everything I've always gotten in life as far as the like financial encouragement and stuff like that, I've equated to as like the participation trophy where it's like, oh, here's your paycheck. Okay, you're good for 2 weeks. Keep working, and then we'll get a paycheck in 2 weeks again. And it's enough to pay your bills, then you're just going to keep going like this forever. And it's not to downplay that. Like there is honestly a lot of good in that. It's amazing. It's amazing to be like, wow, I'm making some money doing the creative things that I like to do. But But, you know, it definitely got to a point where I was like, I'm not going to sacrifice my time with Olivia so that I can make an extra $30 today or something. You know what I mean? Because I could understand skipping an evening with Olivia if I was going to make $4,800. You'd be like, wow, that's a lot. You know, that's a lot to go like, you know, we could hang out tomorrow, you know, but I've never really been in that position, so I don't know what it's like to make that decision. But for myself, it was like, I don't know, man. I could skip the $50. I've already made $150 today. I just don't want to miss my time with Olivia for that small of a reward. You know what I mean? Where it's like, oh, it'll be easier to pay the electric bill, I guess, or whatever. So that's why I don't work on stuff just constantly anymore. But yeah, Michael Bublé has no children, so yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I just have the fish and the cat.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you have your fish and your cat and, you know, your spouse and whatnot, and your house and your things.
Right.
You got things to do.
Right. We've actually, I mean, since I became an adult and started working, I stopped finding the time to be able to like paint and draw like I used to do when I was all the way up until I became an adult. Like that was my whole thing as a kid, was just paint and draw, paint and draw forever. And then I became an adult and I had to sit there and go to work, or most of my work has been like labor. So it wasn't like I was sitting at a desk and like doodling or whatever at the desk while I was doing my desk job.
Right.
Except for every once in a while I would land a desk job for like a year.
Yeah.
Until I got sick of just constantly being yelled at and sitting there and timed bathroom breaks and stuff, which I don't understand. And so people would always be like my mom specifically, like, well, why aren't you painting? Because like I don't have time. What do you mean you don't have time? You're sitting there watching TV. I'm like, yeah, I have like half an hour where I can watch TV, and then I'm too freaking exhausted to do anything else. You have to be able to sit down and actually you can't sit there and be like, okay, well, I've got time to draw like a line.
Right.
I'm sure I'll remember where I was feeling and how everything was working tomorrow when I have time to draw line number 2.
Yeah, another 15 minutes. Yeah. These little 15-minute blocks.
Yeah, and like my mom would send me things like, you need to be drawing. Here's some stuff to draw on. You know, here's this, here's that. And so I've got like this backlog of like empty papers and stuff like that. And so now, since the pandemic, I've been unemployed. And the whole time I've been working on the house. And just in the last like month or so, I've been like, man, I need to draw something. I need to do this. I need to do that. And I went and I found like an art table, like one of them fancy ones that raises and lowers, which to me is fancy because I've never had that before in my life.
It's fanciful.
It's got little drawers for my stuff. And I went, and it was like $20. Somebody was selling it, and I went and I bought it, and it's been sitting there, and I've actually been painting stuff.
Yeah, it's never ending.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. So now I'm just like, gotta go paint. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, so it's different having time and energy to actually do it.
I mean, time and energy to actually work on stuff. I mean, that really is a thing. It's been very weird. It's been very weird, like, it's been very weird living during this pandemic. I will admit that it's exhausting. You know, 2 people this week that I know, family friends, died from COVID, unvaccinated.
Of course.
And it's like, it's so stressful. It's so stressful just like talking to the people. You know, one of the fellas was older, so his kids are grown. So that's not that big of a deal, right? I mean, it's a terrible deal, but like okay, I guess in perspective of the other guy who has young kids, his oldest child started their first day of school like the other day. And their dad died unvaccinated. And it's like the easiest thing. It's free.
Mm-hmm.
You can legit just go get vaccinated.
Right. You can walk down the street.
Right? And it would be a tragedy if you got vaccinated and died.
Mm-hmm.
That would be a tragedy. But at least you could go like, well, at least they were trying to do what could be done within their power of the average person, right?
Right.
Like, we're not asking you to develop a vaccine in your garage or something. It's just like, here's the best level of protection that we have biologically for your body, and it's free, and it's so easy to get done. I don't know. Yeah, but it's just like exhausting to live during this time where now it's like we have a family friend who has kids and no husband because,
yeah,
you know, and you're like, what? And then that's just like, oh, well, I guess that's this week, you know, and then what is it next week, you know, and then next week it's, well, you know, my cousin is going to get fired from their job because they're not vaccinated. It's like, you know,
then
like,
get
okay.
vaccinated.
Then stop buying food at the grocery store because that's all science also, you know, whether it's FDA approved or not or this or that. It's like stop drinking water out of your faucet because that's all science too.
Right.
Do you trust the water treatment plant? How do you know? Maybe it's a conspiracy. Well, they get you hooked on big water.
They put fluoride in it.
Right. Yeah. It's just bonkers. Just, you know, it's just exhausting to try and like work on creative projects when it's like all this wacky nonsense is going on.
Yeah.
And you're like, to me, like I was working on some art the other day. I was trying to. And like a good example is like I ended up reading the thesaurus because it's just like I don't even know if I want to like encapsulate any of these emotions that I have right now because they're all so like wildly negative and just sad, you know.
Yeah.
And it's like, but it's just sad because, like, am I supposed to write harder and like hopefully convince somebody else? You
just
know, like
write your way through it.
Am I supposed to like do more live streams? Am I supposed to make more edited content that would somehow like convince somebody from the Fish fam not to be a conspiracy theorist psychopath? Right? And it's like, but this is all so discouraging. It's so discouraging, and like that's a reality that we're all dealing with right now every day. Like every day you get up and then it's like, oh, I just wanted to go to the grocery store because I wanted to get some yogurt or something. And then it's like, you know, I got to mask up. I got to get my sanitizing on. I got to make sure that it's all good. Try to steer clear of people. But then there's like the anti-mask guy with his gun out, you know, and you're like, what is the plan here? Like, cover up your dirty mouth. Right? But he doesn't want to cover up his dirty mouth. And he's got his gun. Like, I got my pistol right here. I got my big-ass 45 right here. Just so you know, you can't tell me to wear a mask because I'll probably pull my gun on you. Right? And you're like, I just want to buy some yogurt.
Right.
And there's a pandemic. There clearly is a pandemic. Like, people are getting sick, right? And you're just like, how is this so incredibly stupid? To just want to go and like buy some yogurt, but then you got to deal with all this stupid nonsense, right? So, I mean, if people want to know like how I'm feeling, like that's how I'm feeling at this point. Like it's incredibly frustrating to deal with this crap on a day-to-day basis, and then it's like, why don't you create why don't you create a fish video for me? You know, and it's like, you know what? I really would like to create a fish video for you, but a bunch of the stores closed. They're not open anymore. If you do go to a store, everyone's wearing masks, so you can't really like interview anybody. Right. Without like a long lens. And I set my camera up like 30 feet away from them, but then what do I do with the microphone? Like I gotta go get a specialty microphones with a listening dish so I can shine it on them from 30 feet away or whatever. Yeah, and it's just kind of bonkers where we're out here just trying to live in 2021 and try to do all this stuff, and it's just nuts, dude. Lady Guinevere, I went on a date Monday with a guy who proudly proclaimed he never wore a mask, said COVID is a hoax by the government, even if he wasn't giving off homophobic and racist vibes. Still a hard no for me. Oh my God. And you know what the weird thing is like that dude is just wandering around in 2021 going like, I'm a catch, bro. Check me out. I'm a catch. I'm a catch. Ladies like me, you know? And the problem is there probably will be some nutty lady that will be like, yeah, you know what we should do? We should make like 38 kids. That's what we should do. You know, he's probably going to cheat on her with like a whole bunch of other people. It's going to be chaos.
Yeah.
And then she's going to be left alone with 7 kids.
Right. Because when she's pumping out 7 kids, she's not going to be the little hottie anymore.
Right.
And then he's going to be, oh man, I used to get into arguments with guys at school about that.
Right.
Like, I'm going to have like 10 kids. I'm going to date a model and we're going to go and have like 10 kids. I'm like, she's not going to be a model after having 10 kids.
What's always interesting to me is that like, there's always dudes out there that think they're like entitled to dating up. Have you ever noticed that?
Yes.
That like, I know a lot of dudes that are 3s and 4s, and maybe a 5 if you include financial stability, right? But their expectation is like a track and field star who's also a runway model, who's also like super rich, right, or something, you know? And you're just like,
and it almost never includes
what have you
intelligent.
What have you done to deserve like a top tier lady? Like, what's the plan here? You know, it's like very crazy.
I know a girl, 6'2", completely freaking gorgeous, runway model, and a microbiologist, and super sweet and nice. But they never want to go after the super smart ladies. These guys.
Oh, those dudes, yeah.
Yeah. Luckily, she's got this guy who looks like together they look like they stepped out of like Lord of the Rings, the elves.
Right.
Because they're both like the long blonde hair too.
He's some Chris Hemsworth, Chris Hemsworth clone. You're like, all right.
Yeah. No,
right.
it's
it makes
really
sense.
It's really crazy. Like,
right.
I'm like
a friend of mine.
Are you Nordic?
A friend of mine. A friend of mine is just a super hot chick, right?
Yeah.
And you know, a little while ago she had a baby, and it was like, oh my God, wow, congratulations, you know, you had a baby, you know, you know, and then it was like, well, who's the guy? Like, I haven't met the guy yet. Like, what's the deal here? And she's like, oh, here he is, and it's like he's a star rugby player, and like has like a couple degrees and stuff and whatever, and you're like, oh yeah, well there you go, you know, and he's from like Australia or something, you know, so he also has that going for him too, crazy accent and all that stuff, and you're like, all right,
checks out.
Yeah, checks out. Makes sense. Yeah. Yeah.
It's always nice when the pretty people have pretty lives.
Michael says, damn, a 5 with financial stability, bro. I should be an 11. That's right. Yeah. Kelly says, gross. I'm grateful to work remote, and my company mandated the vaccine for its only employee in March. Right. That's pretty funny.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was kind of wild to see the executive branch release a bunch of those vaccine mandates and stuff like that. And it's kind of funny because just how many people I've seen like react with the like, this is the authoritarian, blah blah blah, right? And you're like, yeah, but you've had like 8 months to get vaccinated without a mandate, and then you didn't because you just choose not to, right?
Right.
So now there's a mandate because you know,
there are
like
places
this is a
out
problem.
there with like only 50%.
I looked it up. Like even Florida reported like 1,300 deaths. 1,386 people died or something like that in Florida. Just because they've changed their reporting, like the way that they're doing it. They're like, oh well, yeah, it's fine, you know. And yeah, I mean it's a problem, man. And it's like, oh, now here's the authoritarians trying to, you know, force it, you know. And it's like, well, it's unfortunate that it like got to this point because
right.
You probably just should have gotten vaccinated. I don't know. And it's super weird to see what's going on in the schools. Like, they're putting on a mask mandate, and so now all the parents are showing up to, like, fist fight each other or whatnot. And I'm like, it definitely does not make me think I really want to be going to these PTA meetings and stuff once Olivia's old enough.
Right.
I certainly don't want to get in a fist fight over, like, the future hand-washing mandate or whatnot.
Right.
You know,
my kid should be able to go.
My kids should be able to get the biome of germs on them in their mouth and all over their hands all the time. Which is funny because, like, I was actually arguing with a parent a while ago that they were like, the kids got to get all the dirt and germs on them so that their immune system will get ready. And I'm like, that is not how an immune system works.
Right.
The immune system isn't, oh, I get sick a bunch so my immune system is better. No.
Yeah.
If you have the best immune system ever, you're like the unbreakable Bryce Willis from that one movie.
Unbreakable.
Unbreakables.
No, just Unbreakable.
I thought it was The Unbreakables, right?
No, because it's just him.
Wasn't it The Unbreakabroken? Brickabracken. Bryce Brickabracken Willis in The Unbreakabrakens Mans. Right?
No.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you had the best immune system, that's what would happen. You'd never get sick because your immune system would be so high functioning that you would not succumb to viruses and bacteriums and whatnot.
But then your immune system would start attacking itself.
Why would it do that?
Because that's what happens when you have an autoimmune disorder. Ah!
Yeah, but no, we're talking about like a high functioning immune system would mean that you just don't get sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. Well, that if your immune system was functioning perfectly,
right,
that's what would happen. You would not get sick.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
That's in theory.
It's
anyway,
it's not theoretical, man.
I don't know, man.
What happened over there?
What do you mean?
What happened?
What?
What happened? You're freaking out.
I needed to stretch.
Have I messed you up with the like that's how the immune system's supposed to work?
Yes.
Like, it's not that you get sick a bunch and then you don't get sick anymore. If you get sick a bunch, your immune system is broken down. Like, it will identify, like, a virus that you had before, but you're more susceptible to other viruses and things while your immune system is suppressed from being sick.
Right.
Yeah.
The same thing if you don't get enough sleep or whatever.
Right. Yeah. If you got enough sleep, if you're super healthy, you just don't get sick very much because your immune system works super good. Yeah. Now, if your immune system is like hyperactive, then you get sick because you start attacking your own biome and stuff. Yeah, that's a problem. Kelly Foreman says the immune system is strengthened by exposure to benign bacteria by playing in the garden and petting dogs. I think Alyssa's checked out.
I don't know.
Michael says another rando question about your evolution in the game. What were the sizes of your first tanks, and when did you begin to realize make movies to eventually get into the 120 gallons and whatnot? Well, I think a lot of that is just on YouTube. If you go all the way back, some people have gone all the way back and watched all of my videos.
I've watched some.
Some people have gone back and watched all of them.
I like the one with the when you get the orange pants.
And verified by leaving a comment on every single video. Like, this is where I'm at right now. I'm watching this one.
All right.
This is the one I'm watching now. It's like, wow. All right, well, you're in it.
Nice.
But like, as far as like my early tanks, like I was a kid, so who knows? Were they 20? Were they 30? I don't know. It was just, I'm sure, whatever my parents could afford. But I think I started with a fish bowl. I think a fish bowl was the first thing I ever had.
That's better than what I had at first.
I think it was just like a fish bowl with
the goldfish.
Goldfish in it. And it was Fred and Fred 1 and Fred 2 and Fred 3. It just kept naming my fish Fred. I think I got to like Fred 7 or something like that. But I do remember Fred the 5th. See, Fred the 5th, I went on a camping trip when I was a kid. I went out to camp, you know. Went out to camp for a week. Did whatever boy camping stuff you do. I don't know, canoeing. I don't know.
Just sleeping on the ground.
Horseshoes. Arts and crafts, you know.
Throwing sticks around.
Sleeping in the woods. You know, whatever.
That kind of stuff.
Doing camping stuff. And while
looking
I was
at cool bugs.
Doing that, my goldfish died. Fred the 5th died. And my mom and my sister took the fish to the store, the dead fish, to match and replace him with a fish that looked the same. I don't know how long this fish was dead, but I guess it was like dead and bloated or whatever. And so they bought a fish that was bigger than Fred. It looked a lot like Fred, the 5th. And when I got back, I was under the assumption that Fred grew the whole time we were gone.
Wow.
I was like, wow, what did you guys feed him? He grew a whole bunch. And like, they were like, oh, well, I don't know, you know, just regular stuff. He must just be going to a growth spurt or something, you know. So, yeah, good times. But the evolution, like I was more involved in like forums and stuff. Yeah.
Like theplanettank.net?
Sure. Perfect example of a forum.
Yes.
And I was more involved in that stuff. And then I remember I got like a rash of trash talk from a bunch of people. I got a rash on my butt. I was going to say a rash of shit from people, but you know what I mean, right? And I got a rash on my butt from basically like Redditors of the past, right? And the whole thing is like, we don't even know if you even blah, 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 right? And I was like, okay, I guess I'll just make a YouTube video. And it's the worst video you've ever seen because it's literally me just walking around my apartment at the time, which is just whatever projects I had going on at the time. And, yep, that's basically it. And then from there, it was like, you know, somebody was like, well, why don't you talk during the videos? And it's like, okay, I guess I'll start talking. But, I mean, I think that was 12 years ago now. 2008?
Okay.
2009? Maybe somewhere around there. I don't know. But it was a really long time ago. And then people were like, why don't you talk? And, okay. So if you go back, you look at a bunch of my old videos, like, I'm just hammered, you know? Like, it'd just be, like, late night, just drunk, screwing around with fish tanks and stuff. And, we're making a YouTube video. But, you know, like, I don't know. That's what was going on. So that's what we were doing and having a good time, having some laughs. And then one of the websites that we were on, there was a lot of intrigue happened, and a bunch of the moderators and everybody on that website got kicked off. So then we made a website that had a forum and a live chat and stuff like that.
Cool.
And it was called Dark Star Arts. Now, I don't even think...
Oh, don't you still have that?
No, Dark Star Aquatics, I think.
Oh.
So I do have the YouTube channels and stuff. And I own, like, the names and everything. And, like, I own the Facebook and stuff. Oh, very weird. Yeah, see, so, like, darkstaraquatics.com on YouTube, somebody posted a video about it in 2013, so that was quite a while ago. And I don't even think it does. It looks like it doesn't even exist as a web domain right now. I don't even think anything's hosted anymore, other than me just owning the name. Let me see. Yeah, so we still own the Facebook page and all that kind of stuff. But, yeah, I mean, we literally have not really put anything up on it in a really, really, really long time. I think I've posted some pictures and things like that to it on occasion just because it, like, would automatically do that. But anyhow, we own darkstaraquatics.com, which was its own website. And, had a chat and all that kind of stuff on it. And then eventually I got rid of that because I was, like, really tired of paying to host the website, realistically. Because people weren't using it all that much at the time. And it was kind of like, this little community is kind of died. And the thing is that, like, because people just move on, right? People just move on to do other stuff. And like I said earlier in the stream today was like, I've never hit that point where it was like, wow, I'm so popular or whatever that I got to keep doing this one thing, right? Like a good example in my life and somebody that you guys follow and whatnot would be like Corey from Aquarium Co-op. It's like the Aquarium Co-op took off. So it was like the indication for Corey was like, oh, keep doing this and just keep doing it as much as possible. And it's like, it's financially makes sense also to like, oh, keep doing it. Like, keep doing the thing. Yeah, okay. I've never really hit that. I've never really hit that as far as like internet stuff goes, for sure.
Yep.
And like with my art stuff, like people would buy art from me all the time. But it was always like, oh, here's like a $400 painting or a $300 painting, or people just can't afford it. They're like, oh, I'd really want to buy that, but can I just have like a $3 version of it? Like I don't have a $3 version of a thing.
Yeah.
Like, if you made prints, I would buy them. So it's like, okay, then I made prints and nobody bought them. It's like, man, if you made shirts, I would totally buy one. It's like, so make shirts and then 8 people buy them, and you're like, okay, like, it's fine. I made a couple of dollars off of it or whatever, but like you have to be realistic when you go, okay, I spent 16 hours working on designing a thing. I had to pay for my business license to be able to sell merchandise throughout the United States. I had to do this, I had to do that. And by the end of it, it's like, well, I made $72, and you're like, okay, I worked on this for weeks. I hired another artist to help me like create the print file.
Yeah.
So like when you print a t-shirt, for instance, you have to make all the layers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so you have to make a file. Now, obviously, if you go on a Teespring or something like that nowadays, you can do it with just a plain picture, and then Teespring will like figure it out. But it's way crappier. Like it's just way worse. Unless you basically what you do is you build a layered file of an image, and then they can print all the colors off of that, right? And so it's like, but then I had to hire somebody at like $50 to make that, and then this, and then that, and all this stuff. And then at the end of the day, it's like, well, I'm taking in this income. I also got to pay taxes on that, but I have all the cash now, so I have to figure out the taxes, put that into a savings account so that I'll have to pay the taxes at the end of the year. And you sort of just kind of like running around doing all this work that somebody that's successful would be happy to do because you're getting paid like a big hourly wage to do it or whatever. But for me, like I never hit that point where it was like, wow, dude, I'm making $6,000 a month. I'm making $10,000 a month. Like, let's keep going. Let's keep going. I'll hire some people to help. I don't know. It sounds weird to even like admit that. You're not supposed to admit that on the internet. You're supposed to talk about the hustle. You're supposed to talk about hustle culture, and you got to grind, and you got to do this, and you got to do that, and blah, 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 and screw everybody that's in your way, and all this kind of crazy stuff. And it's just like, I don't know, dude. That's depressing. Like when I'm around people like that, I'm like, this is depressing. Like, get away from me. Like, I like to work hard. I like to work on projects. I like to do things, but it is psychotic when you hang around somebody like that. It's just like,
Yeah.
Can you go away? Like, you're not a real person, and this is an act, and it's bizarre. Because
I understand.
Because even the actual successful people I know are like, oh, that's so crazy. Like, get away from me. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
It's the same thing as like working and honing up your craft and doing it. In my instance, drawing and painting ever since I was 2 years old. That was like all I ever did. And everybody always said, you're really, really good. Teachers would write, contact me when you get famous, etc., blah, blah, blah. And I'd be like, all right, cool. So went to school for an computer art thing. And no employer ever wanted to give me a job in it. And the only things that I could find work in were always physical labor, no creativity, how dare you think,
right?
Kind of things. And I always thought that was kind of insulting. Like the best paying job I ever had was scrubbing people's toilets and doing their laundry and stuff like that.
Okay, like, can you come over and wash my house for me?
Right. I'm like,
okay.
I mean, I guess, but the part about that is that when you're done doing a job like that every day, you get home and you're so exhausted that you literally do not have the time or the energy to hardly work on anything else. And so then with fish, it's like at the very least, you just have your set things, and you set things up for yourself so that you can take care of them without killing yourself. Like you figure out after a while that like lifting a 5-gallon bucket up and like pouring it into the tank is not really great for your back all the time. And so that's why like a python, for instance, is good. Or in my case, back at my old apartment, I couldn't get the python to go on to the new faucet that they put in. And so I ended up getting like the faucet would pour into a pitcher, and then I had the hose end attached to a power head, and then I would just plug in the power head, and it would just fill up the tank that way, which is pretty cool. Yeah, I couldn't get the screen off of the thing without scratching it up. It was one of those brushed metal things, and like the tools that I had just kept trying to like scratch up the thing, and I was like, I'm not gonna destroy this. I'm gonna lose my deposit and blah blah blah. So I had to think of a different solution.
Oh my God, look how expensive pythons are now.
What are they, $60 or more?
109.
Dang! How many feet? 25 feet?
Yep. Look how expensive that is right now.
Y'all, a 25-foot python, the one that I bought was
Thanks, Obama.
$45, I think. And that was several years ago. That was probably 4 years ago. So apparently they're $100.
I don't know. I don't know why they're so.
Was that what it was?
109.
$109 now for a python, a 25-foot python off of Amazon right now. Talk about inflation.
Let's see. Python. Let's see how much it is at the co-op. Do they not have them? They have a Python hook, the super pump, and the squeeze ball. Maybe they call it a gravel vac or something.
The co-op hasn't had a few things that I've gone for them or gone to them for recently.
Well, yeah, dude. Like, the pandemic's crazy.
Yeah.
What would you? I mean, I would imagine it's the Python, but maybe they don't have the whole thing right now, and maybe that's why it's not on the website. Well, I guess you'll have to go to Amazon because we're an Amazon affiliate, and you go there and buy your shoes and stuff. A bunch of people bought shoes from our shoe talk last week.
Really?
People were inspired.
Nice.
And they bought shoes. So I better link some more shoes, right, during the chat.
Get some good
shoes. It looks like Pythons
man.
are crazy expensive right now.
You don't
Here's a
want to
knockoff one. Here's a knockoff one for $50 that's 50 feet long. It's $42.
Nice.
It's a knockoff version. It's probably...
I'm good with that.
It's probably just from some other manufacturer down the street from the Python manufacturing place.
Really, just as long as
it looks like there's affordable ones, but maybe the Python brand itself is like having some kind of shortage or something. Who knows?
If I can just get a non-kinking
hose,
potable water quality vinyl hose, I'm good.
You need to get the white rubber ones. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
Hold on. I'll find it.
You find it and link it.
Rubber water hose. Where is it? It's in here somewhere.
Michael, you were trying to glue your Python back together last weekend? Dang.
Somebody was trying to...
Michael Sarr.
What?
He says he was trying to glue his Python back together. Holy cow.
This one. This is the one. It's called the Smart Flex HSFRV 525.
Ooh, that is a name that just rolls right off the tongue.
It just shoots right out of your mouth, right into someone's ear, and they know exactly what you're talking about, right?
Yes. HSRFV 525. Yeah, the HSRFV 525, not the 524, obviously.
524 is right out. We didn't even want that anymore.
That was 6 years ago now.
That was before.
You want the 525.
Yeah. So
man.
these, if you want the real like non-kink white one, you want this white. It's a hybrid hose, so it's like
not to
it's
kink
it's
shame,
like it's
but
braided. It's like braided, but it also has the rubber. It's very weird. It's like a hybrid hose between the two. So
nice.
It's still kind of floppy, and you can still use it like a hose, but it doesn't kink because it's got the braiding in there. It's very weird. But that's like a decently good option. Everybody uses these for their RVs.
Okay.
For their water supply line on their RV, and everyone's very excited about it. If you deal with RV people, like I do now, they're very excited about their RV stuff that they have figured out. They're like, my guy, look at this thing over here. It's like a barbecue thing that pops out of the thing, and they're like, oh my God, check it out. And I'm like,
I
right,
love when you find like the people that are really like into some like niche hobby or whatever,
like fish
and they get really excited about something. Yeah, it's fun. It's really fun. My guy Justin and his teacups. We go to like an antique store and he'll be like, "Oh, teacups. Do you like this or do you like that?" And be like, "Actually, we're looking at like Ainsley's."
I don't think he talks in that tone. What's this?
No.
What's
That's the
tone?
people at the store.
Oh, hey.
That's usually it's like some little old lady or whatever, just trying to like sell us stuff.
Teapots and tea kettles and teacups.
No, just teacups.
They don't sell you the teapots.
We could.
Serviette. Anyone?
We could do that, but no, he's got his thing. Anyway, so yeah, it's like certain brands.
I don't know what Petroman 115181185 is talking about. Ken's Fish Supply selling a 25-foot python for $49. Ken's Fish Supply is not a sponsor of this channel. So get out of here with... I'm just kidding. If you find a good deal, take a good deal.
Heck yeah.
Take a good deal, bros.
Yeah.
I don't know about Ken's Fish because I don't know anybody from there. I don't know anybody from there.
You could buy 2 for the same price that they.
They might be the coolest people on the planet.
They might be.
They might also not be.
I don't know.
It's possible.
Sometimes it's both. Sometimes some of the people are cool and some of the
Kelly
people
says the co-op never sells the full Python.
Oh.
Oh, I thought they did. I thought I saw them there. I don't know.
They have sold. They have.
Maybe they have them for in-store purchase or something.
Maybe. There are definitely things that they sell in-store only.
Yeah, I've seen stuff at the warehouse and then later on been wildly corrected of like, hey, no, that's for the store only. And I'd be like, I don't know, dude. I'm so dumb. What do I know? I'm just a guy whose mouth hole is making sounds. Yeah. Something really popular must have been going on when we started the show at 2 o'clock.
Uh-oh.
Because people just been straggling in here.
What is it, Friday? I don't know of anything that happens on... I don't know what happens on the internet.
Zen Ginger says we're at 2160p resolution, which is sweet. And it's true. That is sweet. Which I've been at 4K for quite a while now, and boy howdy, does it just hammer on the old internet and the computer. This computer is like so mad at me on a regular basis now. One of these days, I'm going to consider rebuilding the computer, but due to the pandemic, like electronics are insane right now.
Yeah,
You could buy a TV for cheap, but like there's a bunch of stuff like computer parts that are just impossible to buy right now.
Yeah.
You gotta find stuff that's like, oh my God, we got a super chat.
It's from Kelly Foreman. Yeah. She wants to make sure you got a coffee.
Amazon affiliate purchases aren't enough to get you coffee, so here you go. Well, thank you. I appreciate it, dude. Hey, man, if you're gonna super chat $5, you could become a member for $5, and it would last all month, and your name shows up green.
Oh,
and
yeah.
You get a emblem, you get a badge, and your name shows up green, and all that stuff.
Is the first one the arrow?
I think so. First
you get to be
the
arrow.
Yeah.
The arrow is the coolest.
Yeah.
Although, also, I'm
trying to give you guys deals.
I still like the chips.
You could also become a patron for 5 months.
Yeah.
Because you can go on Patreon for $1, and then you get to access our Discord.
Oh, thanks, Zen
And we get
Ginger.
to send fish pictures back and forth and chat on a regular basis. I'm not the most active person on there, but I'm fairly active. Especially if you tag me in something, it'll give me a notification. If you try to talk to me on Facebook or Instagram or YouTube comments or any of that kind of stuff, like I ain't got time for that.
Yeah.
But I do have time for Discord people.
I'm pretty active on the Discord.
Yeah.
I don't have much of a life. No, I'm just kidding.
I encourage it. I like that people are active on there. That's good. It's a good thing. I'll
just randomly share photos of things.
Yeah. It's called a community where we're talking about stuff.
Yep. Memes. If you like memes, we got them. You could probably scroll back for several hours and just read memes if you want.
Mm-hmm. For sure. We're definitely a meme heavy group. That's for sure.
It's fun.
I feel like it's the best way to I feel like it's one of the best ways to just interact with a full expression of emotion is like a good solid meme. Is a good way to do it. You know, it's a good way to get it. Like Sting as what's his name from Dune. It's pretty good. It's a lot. It's a lot to take in, you know. But yeah. Let me see. Signs. Oh, we've got signs in Minecraft.
Hey, there we go. Kelly, welcome. Welcome to being a member.
Oh my God, Kelly became a member. Oh, we have to update the numbers over here, guys. This is a monumental moment right here. We have to update the membership number.
I will clap for you.
Oh my God, can I even access it? Oh, hold on. Oh, yeah, I can. I was pushing the wrong button. Here's the deal. We're at 84 members.
2 cups of coffee. Oh, I get a cup of coffee too.
Which means we're 8.4% of the way to where we want to be. Somebody asked me a while ago, when will you do YouTube full time? And I said, when I get to 1,000 members. And they said, that's a lot. And I said,
yes.
You're correct. You're not wrong. So we're 8.4% of the way there, which means we're only 1.6% of the way there to get to 100.
We're 8.4% of the way. That doesn't quite work. We got to get to halfway at least.
To 50%?
Yeah. So
All right, we need 500 members like right now. That's what we need. How am I going to hire Alyssa to be on the show if we don't have enough money coming in to do it? That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, that's
She's
true.
coming down here out of the graciousness of her heart.
Yeah. Sometimes I bring snails.
I get gas money. I give her gas money sometimes, which I should probably figure out how to do that on a regular basis. But she's coming down here out of the graciousness of her heart, and we have to get enough sponsorship going here. And by the way, somebody said, like, why don't you get sponsorship from a store? Because every once in a while I say things like, I get a rash on my ass, right? And then all of a sudden, those sponsors get super mad. They're super mad because they were like, I heard you talking about a rash on your butt. And it's like, on your butt. And then it's all super weird, right? And then they send me emails, and I got to read the emails.
Be like, bro, you got impetigo? What? What's going on?
Right.
You got to get that taken care of.
You know, and it's very difficult to try and, like, have somebody sponsor your channel without suddenly having to deal with the, like, wild amounts of, I don't know, just concerns and this and that and the other thing and all that kind of stuff. And I'd rather just not. Although a bunch of people just left, so maybe that's what's up.
Oh.
They're like, hey, don't do that. We're going to leave. And I'd be like, oh. Which is kind of funny. Somebody was asking me a while ago, they were like, what if you had no viewers or whatever? Would you still do the show? And I'd be like, yeah, probably. It'd probably just get more ridiculous over time.
Yeah,
me just like talking to myself.
Yeah.
Like, hey, guys, it's September, and it's raining outside, and it's very exciting, and
I was pretty excited to see it kind of raining outside my house today. I was like, dang, it's like the second time since June that I've seen water coming down from the sky. Free moisture. Free moisture.
Kelly's asking, do I at least feed her?
No, actually.
She's never asked for food.
No.
And she's never really proclaimed that she was hungry.
No.
So, no.
I mean, that's not entirely true. I have before just said, I got to go home because I got a sandwich there for me.
Well, that's true. You have mentioned...
But I haven't said...
You have mentioned the existence of food.
I haven't, baby birded or anything like that.
Right. Those are in the garage right now. Them baby birds are in the garage.
I do want to see the baby birds.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize.
I just remembered that you have them. Like, I knew... And you were in the garage earlier.
I was. I'm trying to clean up the mess in there. It's a disaster. Yeah. It's embarrassing.
But I want to see the baby birds.
It's a disaster mess. And the
yep.
The guy came today and replaced our meter, our electricity meter, with a digital one.
Oh, nice.
Which was
no more dials for you, eh?
The spinny thing.
Yeah.
The spinny thing's gone. Yeah, it's not that anymore. Now it's all like a readout.
Nice.
Which, when I'm going full dad vibes, I'm going to be standing there with my hands on my hips going, how many kilowatt hours have we utilized this week? We're burning too much electricity. And then I got to go put on my New Balance, and slap my cell phone into a cell phone holder.
Yeah.
Sorry, holster.
Yeah.
It has to be a holster for quick draw.
Yep. And they gotta be white shoes.
I'm calling the power company, guys. I'm calling the homeowners association. I'm calling Napa Auto Parts. I'm calling. Who did dads call?
Valvoline.
Valvoline?
Yeah.
Like the oil company?
Yeah. My dad used to drive from the Twin Cities up to Duluth to pick up synthetic oil from Valvoline up in Duluth for some freaking reason. Like, we couldn't get it on, I don't know. But we would have to take a trip up to Duluth once in a while to pick up a case of oil.
A case of oil?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's dad moves.
Yeah, seriously. And then
that's dad moves to literally be like, This synthetic is better than the other ones. I got to drive 48 miles to go pick up a case.
We'd have a bag of peanut M&Ms and a soda, and we would just go and just have like a 6-hour trip. Because it's 3 hours up and 3 hours back.
Right. Guys, we're gonna drive. We're gonna drive. What is it? So we're gonna drive 380 miles round trip to go get motor oil. Which means I'm gonna have to do an extra oil change from all the drive. Oh my God. Yeah, that's a dad move.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your dad would be hands on hips.
And it wouldn't be the whole family. It would just be like a me and him thing.
Your dad would be hands on hips. Like, I just don't like the performance of this motor oil.
Well, we had to get the specific synthetic, and he didn't want to use the natural stuff or what. I don't know.
He didn't want to invent Amazon Prime.
Right. Right, exactly. And
in
this
order
is
to get it shipped directly to his house.
Late 80s kind of thing. Like, we would also, what else did we do? We had a can crusher.
Mm-hmm.
And of course we would crush all of our cans. And then once a year, we would load up the Buick full of like the 6 55-gallon trash bags full of crushed cans that we had acquired throughout the year, and bring them to the recycle plant, and then we would end up with like $50 or whatever, and then we would me and my dad and my sisters would go to Camp Snoopy, which was the name of the amusement park in the middle of Mall of America at the time, and we would just ride roller coasters for the day. That was what we did. Like, that's how we did. That's how we had fun. Aubrey super chatted $20.
I know.
That's amazing.
I just replied to it. OMG.
Thanks, Aubrey.
Aubrey's going orange. He's going orange.
I like logging into the Minecraft and just like flying around places and seeing some like random hut in the middle of nowhere, and then being like, I bet you that's an Aubrey build.
Probably.
I bet you that's Aubrey's.
Yep. And so with our Minecraft server, it has been member only, because we're going to launch it public, and then we're waiting on an update and blah blah blah. So the thing is, like, we're probably going to go public with it fairly soon, as soon as I figure out when the next update is. So right now it's at 1.17. It's 1.1. It's 1.17 right now. 1.18 is going to come out at some point in time, and we're going to re-roll the Minecraft Earth at 1.18. I think is the plan. I'm going to basically run it by everybody, but I wanted to mention it during the show so people will remind me about it. We'll probably go full public, because a lot of us have built most of the stuff on the Minecraft planet that we were planning on doing.
Yeah.
And so I think it would be fun to just let the public kind of go bonkers on there for a little while before we re-roll it into the next iteration. Because I think we have to relaunch it for 1.18.
Well,
I mean, I think you can, but like it won't generate properly.
You'd have to expand the borders, and then the new borders that we've not been to would be the ones that had all the new 1.18 stuff,
which we could just redo.
Yeah. And really, there's something to just starting with a clean slate. Although it is really fun to find. I think next time we start out,
I think what we would do is go, let's get a certain space and flatten it out and put a wall around it and say this is where the town is, and build roads through the town so the town could make sense, so town square could make sense. But this last time that we started it, it was literally just like haphazardly, like, I'm putting my shanty over here, and then it's like, hey, you're building into my shanty, what's happening? So I think we might do that this next time around. Maybe just spawn a 500 by 500 flat area at the spawn, or something, and have that be like the town center or something like that, and then just so people can build their initial base and then go from there. Because then it's a lot easier to encourage infrastructure projects like long roads that go in the certain directions from the middle.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
The north-south roads and stuff. And when we started, I was trying to encourage the north road, and I built it for a little while. And then I think I got distracted by something Minecraft related and then stopped building the north road. But then other people picked up that road much later on. I don't know. So, what do I know? I don't know anything. But, yeah, we might be able to do that. Down with that plan. The signs will help the public players. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, signs are wildly helpful. You realize, like, how helpful that the signs are in Minecraft, yet I feel like they've never made the signs better.
They actually...
Like, they introduced the paintings to the game, right, at some point. I don't know. I'm no thesaurus of Minecraft information, but I do know that, like, the paintings weren't there at the beginning, and they added paintings, and they added the signs. The signs weren't even there at the beginning. And then what's the word? But they never made the signs better. Does that make sense? Like, they've never made hey, here's a big sign, and here's big lettering, or versus here's just a regular sign. It's like it's just you got to plunk up a bunch of signs, and then, like, I got to write here, and I got to write there, and I got to write here, and I got to write there.
Oh, okay.
It's not very weird.
No. Well, I mean, to be fair, when they started, I think they all were just oak sign, like, no matter what kind of wood you used, and they would just have black lettering. And so this whole thing where you can dye the lettering on the sign and you can use the glow ink on it, like, whew, that's amazing.
It's brand new. That was, like, introduced 5 minutes ago, basically.
Right. Yeah. So that's definitely an improvement. And I guess I never really invested in it. I usually use signs as a decorative piece. So, I mean, that's how in my own builds on my own servers by myself, where I'm not having to tell anybody what anything is, because I'm the one who built it, so obviously I know where things are. Right. But if you're in a world with people who don't know where things are because everybody else is building it, then yeah, having signs, labeling. Like, I would not have been able to use the nether roads to get places if it wasn't for the signage.
Right. That's true.
I would just be wandering around in the nether shooting stuff and hoping I don't die.
I do have to admit, the first time you and I went into the nether was, like, terrifying. We died a lot. Yeah. We died a lot when you and I went into the nether. It was like, yeah, we're going to go in there. And you were like, it's crazy. I'm like, it can't be that crazy. Like, it'll be fine. We'll figure it out. It's like, boom, dead. Boom, dead. Oh, it is crazy. The nether's crazy, guys. Did you know that? And everyone's like, yeah, we knew that. And I'm like, but we have to manage to figure out how to do it because it's the only way to move forward in the game. So, okay. Yep. And it has just always been crazy. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Period. Yeah. Just refuses to not be bonkers. So. Yeah.
What were we talking about?
Michael Bublé says, let's skip to the next scene where Joel ironically running a gambling operation and making $2 million a month. Boom. Then we'd have videos for days, folks. Hey, man, if I was making $2 million a month, I would be making all sorts of videos because guess what? I could afford to hire people to help with, like, editing and sound design, and I could write scripts and record stuff, and I could have a cameraman who could help out and all sorts of stuff. Yep. So that's one of those things. Like, I actually have a really good buddy that we're working on some projects that you guys don't know about. I probably will tell you guys at some point when those get released. I will most likely let you guys know. But, like, one of them's a vampire show.
Which one?
the project that we're working on.
Oh, okay.
Is a vampire show.
Sweet.
And another one is some commercial stuff that won't matter to you guys, but yeah, it's one of those things. Like, to be brutally honest, it's like I would love to just do fish tank projects all the time. Like, I would love to just do a brand new fish tank every day. And somebody said, like, just do MD fish tanks, because that's what he does. He makes a new fish tank every single day. And I'm like, I don't know how he does it. I don't know if he's like independently wealthy and got into fish tanks or something, but like I don't even know how to buy a fish tank and all the stuff that goes in it every day, let alone have somewhere to set them up.
I don't know. I think you'd have to get into like having people pay you to set up fish tanks for them and then have them sign some sort of like they get a 5% off of the labor for allowing you to film, but really that's just the whole purpose of the whole business in the first place.
Right. Well, like one of the big problems is that like there's just not that many people that can afford to do that.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like even if I like was to set somebody up with like the 120, the 120s that I own, it's like just buying the 120 was like $1,000 or I don't know if I remember exactly, $1,200. They were like each one was $1,200. Like I bought one, Vicky bought one.
Mm-hmm. I remember that.
Then the sumps that we had to buy, well, we didn't have to buy them, but we did buy them because we bought them from a local store, and it was like, at least it's supporting the local guys that I like. Each one of those was like $300. Then all the plumbing, all the substrate, plants, all the stuff that goes in there. It just costs a lot of money to do that over and over again. And so there's that. But then like if you want to try to do that for a customer, right? It's like, so let's say it's like $2,000 worth of stuff, stand, tank, sump, blah, 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 lights, all that stuff. And then the labor on top of it, right? So let's say that's like another $500 or something. There just really isn't that many people that have $2,500 to like set up a tank, an aquarium, right? There's just not a lot of people that have that kind of money. And I didn't get the Amazon gig at the Spheres.
Right, because that's Steve.
Yeah, Steve does it because Tom set him up.
Yeah. But at the very least, like, Seattle area is one of those places where people do have like $2,500 sitting around to do things like that.
Surprisingly, they don't.
Okay.
I mean, there's just not well. Okay, Planet aquariums are extremely niche. Okay, like there's even if you're talking about 1% of the population is interested in them, what percentage of those people have a bunch of money?
Right. And
so go to the GSAS, for instance, and ask, like, who here's a millionaire and is willing to hire people to set up tanks for them? And there's no one will raise their hand except for because it's a double qualifier. There might be millionaires there, but they're not willing to pay somebody to set up a tank for them. They're going to do it themselves.
Right, exactly.
Right. So, yeah, it's like there's just not that many people. Like, even when we were doing reef tanks and stuff back in the day, like, there wasn't that many people that were willing to even pay other than to come, like, clean their tanks and do maintenance and stuff, which is why I've always told people, like, if you want to start a business, start a maintenance company. You basically need a van, some trash cans, some hoses, some pythons. Apparently pythons are like $110 now, so you might go broke on pythons.
But at least it's a, you know, you write it off on your taxes.
You know, I mean, it's not that much. It's not that much to get started business cost wise, but it's definitely something that there's a need for it. It's just like, but you're also doing the thing that you were doing where you're just cleaning somebody's house for them. And it does pay and you can make money off of it. And so that's where I would tell people to get their foot in the door. But then you're just cleaning people's houses for them, just like you were. And I don't know how rewarding that is as just a career, because I've never really done that. I've done it a little bit, but I definitely have gone to fix people's houses quite a bit.
One thing that always stuck with me was when I encountered some woman who had me cleaning her house or whatever, and she was like, wow, you must really love cleaning. And I was like, I mean, I guess. And she goes, well, I mean, you'd have to, otherwise why would you choose to do this for a living?
Right.
And I was like,
Right. Right. Like, have you ever been in one of those, like, have you ever been in one of those, like, team building exercises where people will talk about what is it that you like to do when you're not at work? You know, like, what is it you like to do on the weekend? And nobody ever says work.
Yeah.
Right. Thing is, like, on my weekend, I love filming, taking pictures of stuff. I love working on fish tanks. Like, I love doing all that stuff. So would I like to do it all the time? Like, yeah. But, like, the feasibility is that, like, my job is building stuff and doing repairs and doing that kind of stuff. Like, you know, and I, as you guys know, full disclosure, like, I work for Aquarium Co-op. Like, I work for Corey and stuff. And it's like, so that's how I get paid in order to pay the mortgage and keep the lights turned on and do all that kind of stuff. And I'm super appreciative of everybody that supported the channel for as long as it is. You know, but it's just, it's one of those things. Like, I don't know how, I mean, it definitely is rewarding, like, working on projects like doing a remodel for somebody or something like that, because there's a finish point.
Yeah.
Right? Where you go like, wow, there it is. It's all done. Like, nice, you know? There we go. Moving on to the next project. Like, that's great. And that is rewarding to me, right? But it's very much not rewarding just showing up and cleaning somebody's mess up over and over and over again, because you're never really done. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, I cleaned up this fish tank, but I'm going to be back in 2 weeks and nobody has done anything to clean up this fish tank. And I'm going to do it again. And then I'm going to do it again. And then I'm going to do it again. So I don't know.
One thing that is more rewarding is when you're doing like a move out clean. Because you're not coming back.
That's true. Yeah.
You're just doing the clean. You're getting it from like some point where it's like disgusting. Right.
There was one cleaning company I used to work with. All they did was construction cleanups.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So when you were done, they would come in and they would clean everything from the top to bottom from the construction happening.
Yeah.
And they would also leave little blue tape around when they encountered stuff that was like, oh,
yeah,
maybe that needs some grout or something, you know, or whatever. But like, I can see how that's rewarding, because you're like, you legit just come, do the thing, you're done, Bob, see you later. Bob's your uncle, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But it's very difficult to like show up and clean up somebody's mess. You know, I don't know.
And then
it's
be
like working
like,
in the
you
restaurant.
didn't learn.
It's like working in the restaurant. You clean the bathroom every day, top to bottom. You like deep clean the bathroom, and then the next day people come in and just trash the bathroom, and you clean it again.
Yep,
and you just do it every day,
twice a day.
By the way, the women's bathroom is always worse than the men's bathroom, and I will take that to the grave. No one will ever be able to convince me that no, the men's bathroom is dirtier. And I can tell you there were days when the men's bathroom was dirtier, but on a whole. And
the reason,
if I've cleaned a bathroom, if I've cleaned the men's and the women's bathroom 5,000 times, it's probably a low number.
And part of the reason anyways is because a lot of women these days, like, they don't want to sit down on the seat.
It's a disaster. It's a disaster.
Women don't have like a hose to aim with.
Hold on, let me see if I can find that on Amazon.
Oh, the Shiwi? I know what you were talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, here it is. Here it is. Here's the women's hose.
Yeah, yeah.
But then you got to clean this thing. What do you guys think? Pink or purple? Oh, purple is on sale, dudes.
Ooh, purple's on sale.
It's going to have to be purple, dude. Oh, they have all the colors. Oh, look at that. Are we amazed? Here we go, guys. In case you're a lady and you are jealous of directional peeing, there you go. There you go. It's real. It's a real thing. And it might come in helpful. Do you go camping or something?
Right.
This lady is backpacking, so maybe that's when it comes in handy. Although I would say it seems like the least necessary is when you're backpacking, because you just, it's just off into the great white open.
So
Into the great wide open, like Tom Petty.
as a lady,
Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers,
who
right?
has peed outside, I will say that one of the problems is that, like, as a guy, you can just unzip, and it goes out and away from you, right? Right? As a lady, you basically would have to take your whole pants and shoes and socks off entirely and put them over there, walk over there, do like a sumo squat, and just kind of like spread everything and hope it just all comes out straight.
Yeah, I don't know. This is getting intense.
Otherwise, it just gonna spray everywhere, go down your leg.
This sounds intense, man.
It's difficult.
Oh, man.
And I don't understand hover peers.
So for nights, I was living the myth that women's bathrooms are cleaner, and they are not.
Sorry.
Women's bathrooms are way dirtier than men's bathrooms. Like 95%. Well, that's a crazy estimate, but it's like 85% of the time.
I'm surprised everybody is still here, even though I'm talking about bathrooms.
I don't know. Did they all leave?
No.
I don't know if they leave or
No, they're
not.
still here. It says there's still 26 people here listening to me talk about women's bathrooms.
No, there's 34 people.
Oh,
You're
mine says 26.
I know, because you're a YouTube viewer and you don't have the actual numbers.
Oh.
I have the control panel, and I know exactly what's happening. But a bunch of people come and go. I don't know what they're doing. They just click in and they go like, oh, my God, bye. Which, I don't know, seems appropriate. Seems about right. Because I think the thing is, like, if you and I argued about stuff all the time, like if we just started yelling at each other and arguing, it would probably get more clicks and views because people would be like, oh, my God, they're irate.
But if we argued all the time, I wouldn't come back.
It's true. And I wouldn't invite somebody back who was just going to like, well, here's the thing. Like, the idea would be, like, if I were to argue with some wackadoo right-winger like Ben Shapiro, right?
Oh, yeah.
Then it would just be this wild argument. And then people would be like, oh, man, look at him arguing. Right? And then they make that face, too. They go, and then they bebop around.
Bebop.
And
I'm a rock steady.
then they, they get all excited. And then they think it's great. Because it would be sick burn all the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And but I don't know. I can't bring myself to associate with the crazy people like that and promote them at the same time by bringing them onto a show or something.
Right.
Oh, somebody became not a member during the show today.
Oh, dang.
They canceled their membership. That's a drag. I'm still going to leave the 84 up there because I don't want to change it.
Right.
Some women like women details, women's pee-pee details. I've unfortunately passed. Uh-oh. Chirish is going to fire up some more phones. Okay, good. We got to pump those numbers up. We got to hit the like button and pump the numbers up, I guess, or whatever, right?
Michael Boulos.
Those are rookie amateur numbers. I feel like I'm a 20 viewer Andy, It feels about right. Why not?
I feel like, there have been times when you've had more people. But also probably times when there was less.
Kelly says rich people seem to always want salt water, which is very accurate.
Oh yeah.
For some reason, like most of the big jobs that we ever did, it was always salt water, and it was always like they weren't even really interested in salt water. It was just sort of like an item that says you have some money. Basically, it's like I really don't understand it, but that was always the vibe. Like there was one guy, we went and the guy that I was like helping and working with, I was basically just helping him out, right? And we pulled out all these hammer coral out of a tank, and the guy it was I think it was like a 600, 700 gallon tank, big tank. And the guy was like, oh, he initially had just wanted hammer coral in the tank. Mm-hmm. And they put him in there like 3 years ago or something, and they've been maintaining it the whole time. So the hammer coral had grown all over the place. And he was like, I'm kind of tired of this. Can you just take those out and switch them for a different coral?
Oh.
Which was funny because it was like, so the thing was, the guy was like, can you take these coral out and just swap them for a different coral? Which was just, I forget what it was. I forget what he wanted. I can't remember what it was, but I do remember the hammer coral because they were giant. Like each head had probably 100 heads of hammer on each one. It was huge. It was so much, and we had to frag all of it and then sell each individual head as a frag, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And so I remember the coral that was taken out. I don't recall the coral that was put in. But the guy's thing was, he was like, I'm just tired of this coral. Can you just take them out? He didn't even get paid for it or anything. He had, in fact, paid to have them taken out and swapped in with something else.
Huh.
So we had hundreds and hundreds of hammer coral heads to sell at the store from this one customer that was like, yeah, I just don't want those anymore. I'm kind of bored of the color.
Oh.
Yeah. And it was just like, but the thing was, like, if he knew that he had a commodity like that, you would be like, oh, can I get some store credit or something? I don't know. But it was just like, no, I just don't like that anymore. Can you put the other thing in there now? I'm like, okay, here's the bill.
I always thought that was kind of, so I only do fresh water environments. And one time I had a client who was like chatting with me or whatever while I was cleaning his place.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, well, what else do you do in your life? Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, well, I keep these aquariums and I breed fish and whatever. And he's like, oh, salt water? And I was like, oh, no, fresh. And he goes, oh,
Yeah.
Immediately loses interest.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay. It's not like pink gravel and SpongeBob caves. Like, what? Okay.
Yeah. Aquatic Jack says that must have looked amazing, the huge hammerhead. Yes, very much so. It's like, you'd only really see that at like a public aquarium. Is basically like that's those size of coral that were in that tank. And like I said, they'd just been in there for grip, growing, and being maintained, and being paid to maintain them also.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they were awesome. Stephen P 2003, which by the way, check out Stephen P's channel. He does some good jams for sure. I like his content. Aquatics. How much did you sell each frag for? I think each frag was like probably $20 or something like that. I mean, 15, 20, or maybe if there was a sale, it'd be like 2 for $20 or something, somewhere around there. This is quite a few years ago, so prices were a lot cheaper back then than they are now. Obviously, pandemic pricing is super crazy.
Yep.
Steve Bearteach, what's up, buddy? Says, know of any successful octopus keeping? Yeah. Mm-hmm. I definitely have seen successful octopus keepers. They're expensive. They're escape artists, and they don't live that long. So right. I think most people are pretty traumatized by the death of their octopus, but even in like optimal situations, almost every octopus only lives for like 2 years.
At the most,
I think. So you definitely, if you are going to keep octopus, you got to breed them. You got to be a gangster at breeding octopus if you're going to keep them.
And they die when they breed.
And they die when they breed too. So that's the crazy thing.
So, yeah, like the majority of octopus,
the male will die generally like during breeding.
Yep.
And then the female won't eat anything
while she guards.
While she guards her young,
Mm-hmm.
and then they generally die like a little while after. The females die a little while after all of the babies sprout. what's
Hatch?
Hatch is maybe not the right word, but once the babies become free swimming, generally they die pretty quickly after that. Sort of that's their trigger. But octopus don't live that long, so it really is a big time bummer for a lot of people to try and keep them.
Yeah.
And I've known a lot of people that were super excited, they were willing to spend a bunch of money, and they were going to keep a octopus and this and that. And then when you explain to them that like they aren't going to live that long, they're going to die. That's how this whole thing works. They get pretty bummed out. And I'm always like, if you're that into the octopus, like, how do you not know that? Like, how is that not a piece of octopus information? Like, you probably should have known that, right?
Right. Like, even if you go to, like, the Seattle Aquarium, they talk about it because they always have, like, a 1 or 2 giant Pacific octopus in their tanks. And they'll talk about it like, yeah, so this one we've had for 2 months or whatever. We caught him out in the sound. We're going to have him for, like, 2 more months, and then we're going to put him outside again because, you know, he's got to do his life cycle thing. And then we'll catch a different one and we'll bring him in. And because they know, and they'll tell you, yeah, they don't live very long, and they have to do their breeding thing, or, you know, or we're basically taking them out of the gene pool.
Right. Yep.
So.
Yeah, it's a kind of a bummer, but, you know, it is what it is.
But they are super cool.
They're super cool.
I like seeing them at the big public aquarium. That's a personal thing.
For sure.
Yeah.
Like, I dig seeing an octopus for sure.
Ooh, but you know what I really like? If I could, if I was going to do salt, so sea dragons, not the seahorses, but the sea dragons with all the extra, like, leaves and whatever on them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Those are sweet.
I think those live much longer, I think. Sea dragons lifespan. I think they live like 5 years, I think. Up to 9 years.
Ooh.
Yeah.
See?
But I think 5 years is like
I know.
I think 5 years is the like, yeah, you could probably do that. Is it up to 9 years? So I mean, I think that's like, oh, here's the one that lived a really long time.
Right.
But you could definitely do those. I forget how long seahorses will live for. I think, if I recall, they have a pretty short lifespan, too. Yeah, 1 year.
Oh.
Yep,
okay.
if I recall.
And that's why all the seahorse people are always breeding them.
Yep, they got to breed or it's not going to go well.
It's like killifish.
Yeah. Yeah. Killies are going to last a season, a.k.a. a year. But yeah, seahorses, like if you do seahorses, they got to breed. They're super difficult to keep because they're sensitive to water quality and they ruin the water quality themselves, like with feeding and their waste and everything. Like, so they're a little bit difficult to keep. Jellyfish are hard to keep because you need to keep them in a
perfectly
round ball tank.
Yeah, or they'll get stuck in a corner.
They get stuck in a corner and then they don't make it. So, you know, I mean, the thing is, like, I love reef tanks. It would be fun to do another big reef tank at some point in time, but it really is, like, I either got to keep my freshwater tanks or a reef tank, because keeping both it's just becoming, like, a big time suck, because I wasn't making videos about the saltwater tank, and, you know, if I was making videos about the saltwater tank, maybe it would be important, or like I guess important is the wrong word, but like it might be like a good idea to keep it going because I would be making content about it, but I really wasn't, because people didn't like the saltwater content because they're like, this isn't a saltwater channel, and so then I make gardening videos instead, so just to spite people trying to tell me what to do. So I'm like, I'll make a whitewater rafting video next probably and just be like, what? It's got water in it. What do you want? You know, they'll be like, this isn't a rafting channel. And I'll be like, I don't care. I'm so mad right now.
It's fresh water.
It's fresh water. What do you want? Like, it's
There's
not in a
fish
box.
in here.
It's not in a box. Zelf says that's how much a 120-gallon acrylic tank costs. Yes, big, thick acrylic tanks cost quite a bit. I weighed the cost against buying them at the time. And, Vicky and I both came to the conclusion that it was worthwhile. It's something I'm going to do the rest of my life. And I'll be able to keep those tanks forever. And they'll generally last forever. So that's kind of the thing is like it's sort of a lifetime investment. There's no reason for me to get rid of those tanks. Even if I drain them and put them in storage, they'll be fine because they don't have any kind of silicone to dry out or anything like that. They just will last forever. So it's like, it was a worthwhile thing to go like, I want these tanks. These are the tanks I'm always going to want, and that's totally fine. So we just spent the money to be like, boom, those are locked in.
And they're a lot easier to move around than a gigantic glass tank. A
lot easier to move around than a 120 or 180 gallon glass tank. Those would just destroy your back for sure.
Yep.
John Aquarium says, how would you start if you wanted to breed coolie loaches or mini dragon loaches? Good night from Germany. I've never bred coolie loaches.
Jeez, I've never bred loaches at all.
Yeah, so I would not be the guy to answer that question very well. But the easiest way to answer that would be like good water quality, feed them well, provide them an isolated environment, and that you're generally going to get breeding. Like it's pretty much going to happen as long as you're.
And they seem to like having a lot of friends. So I would make sure to give them like a pile of noodles. Just like a whole pile of noodles.
Right. Why not? So, you might want to just look up their breeding habits, but they're not one that I've bred, so I don't really know.
Right.
Stephen P says, I just like having my hands in my planted tanks, and I'm not a fan of everything in a saltwater tank being something that bites or stings or however else it can hurt you.
Yeah.
A lot of freshwater stuff can hurt you too. So just be aware of that for sure. Will M with a $20 super chat for gas funds. All right. Nice. We're getting those $20 super chats today. We got one from Will and we got one from Aubrey. And Kelly became a member today.
And super chatted $5.
And super chatted $5. Oh my God. We're rolling in it. We've already got subtracted money from YouTube, so we'll have to do some math here.
Just put it out on the floor.
But it is 4:00. We stayed on for an extra 10 minutes because I don't know, we like your style or something. Who knows? But that's it for today. Hope you all are having a fun time out there. We got to go and I guess eat food because I didn't make any for Alyssa. So we got to go find it. We have to forage around and find the food.
Well, it's Friday, so we'll probably be